Good day, Internet.
What is happening, Internet?
What it do, Internet?
That's all we have to say.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, Sarah, Tom, David, before you guys jumped on, I was talking with Joe about, going to CES, and I'm struggling with gear acquisition syndrome. I got a lot of stuff and I want to take it all with me. I literally want to take 2 Pelican cases.
The syndrome
and
is that you have too much
pounds of
gear.
equipment.
Not that there's not enough. Too much gear.
Yeah,
I know that feeling, because you're like, what you want to do is just pack everything just in case.
Well, right, because the whole fear is if you don't have 2 of everything,
something will happen.
Something will fail, and you'll be like, oh my God, what do I do?
Right. But then you end up with like a really, really heavy carry-on and, with like very precious gear, and you can't check it, and
So I know we'll be indoors for 97% of the time that we're in Vegas, but I really do need to take like a case of neutral density filters, right? I mean, those fluorescent lights get pretty bright.
Of course, yeah.
What's interesting is neutral density filters are one of those things that like enthusiasts and professionals argue about all the time over like a plate of fries.
It's also one of my favorite progressive bands of the early 2000s and late 90s.
Don't you have one of these on your new your Elgato cam, Tom?
Well, I did.
You're not using it.
I'm not using it, but I have one. Yeah,
but you have one. Yeah,
right.
I wanted to make sure I understood. I mean, those aren't going to take up that much space, Rob. Just pack them.
Oh, it's a whole case.
Well, you can screw it onto one lens, and then.
Well, if you're going to take one lens, you might as well take 4, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So you really want to be lugging all that stuff? That's always my feeling. It's not so much. It's the lugging.
I really don't.
No, that's a good point. Yes, so you should hire an assistant to carry it for you.
Well, and then it starts going into sort of like, okay, if you get all the gear to your, hotel room, which is hopefully comfortable, then you use what you need and just have the stuff in the hotel room just in case something happens, which we've all been there, where it's like, go back to the hotel room, the XLR cable needs to be replaced, whatever it is. So it doesn't necessarily mean that all week you have like, 30 pounds on your back, but you still have to get there with everything.
I hope we're not stealing too much from your segment later, David.
No, not at all. Not at all.
I'm going to talk about different stuff.
It's not about lugging gear. I'll tell you, I used to be literally a one-man show myself, where I would, bring the gear. And then I remember coming back to my hotel room in so much pain lugging gear that I had to just lie on the floor, not even in the bed. And then I started.
CES, this happened to me.
Then I started hiring people to lug the gear. And that was a lot better.
And then he started getting phone calls from the people saying that they hurt their back or they were in pain in bed from lugging all that gear. Actually, you know what? It's interesting. It was back at Ziff Davis when I was I was working with some guys from IGN, and like their equipment got stolen, and it's like, nah. And that sort of disabused me of carrying a lot of equipment. I just carried enough that I could constantly carry in a backpack on me because I wouldn't leave it alone.
I had a friend, not a photographer, who carried so much equipment, and he left it anywhere, and he said, "Oh, I don't care. I got tons of insurance." Like, that was his attitude. Like, if you get stolen, so what? I get insurance.
Well, yeah, but like if you need it for something
right
there.
Yeah.
I know, but I couldn't believe he had that attitude towards it. I'm like, I don't want to lose it, even if I got insurance. And also, won't it go up if you get robbed? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, you just get robbed.
Yeah,
once
I mean, it's insurance after all.
from that.
I had a camcorder stolen out from under me once, and it was just very unfortunate. And it was kind of my fault because it wasn't wrapped, tightly enough to me as it should have been. And I had insurance, so I got the money back. But yeah, it was like there were 3 days where I was like, okay, no more video.
No more video.
This is back in the day too. So, cell phones were not, they didn't have the kind of video that, I was looking for. But It sucked, but insurance did help in that situation.
Yeah, so I'm just trying. I don't want to have to bring a Pelican case. I don't want to have to check camera equipment, but I have it. So I was like, oh, I could use this to do this thing. I could use it to do
what's
that.
the
you have
point
it,
of-
you're like-
what's the point of owning it and not taking it to CES?
right.
I understand that.
Yeah. And if you thought you should take it and you choose not to, you will need it. At
Of
some
course,
point, a
of
system,
course.
No
something
doubt.
will come up,
That's
and
the
you'll be
rule.
like, yeah.
It's just, if I had this with me.
Yeah. I should have packed
I
it.
really needed the drone.
Like,
to
how many
fly
times
around.
have I been like, should I pack two mics? I mean, not this mic, but like just, two roving mics just in case. It's like, no, I don't need two mics. I only need the one.
What happens when the one fails?
Well,
here's my
I've
whole
learned the
theory
hard
on
way
that.
that you should just pack that other mic.
My whole theory is that just pack what you need and just know where the AV stores are nearby.
Or
should
that.
you need to get something last minute.
AKA Best Buy in Las Vegas, because that's kind of it.
Guitar Center.
Or ask Allison.
there a Guitar Center in
She
Las
has an
Vegas?
extra of
I
everything.
don't
must be.
know. I mean, in Los Angeles, there are several.
I'll tell you, the Guitar Center here has been very helpful.
Have a good show, everybody.
Good day, Internet. This is DTNS Live for Thursday, December 18th, 2025. Yep, we're still in 2025. From Studio Animal House, I'm Sarah Lane.
From Studio 7 in Los Angeles, I'm Tom Merritt.
From Columbus, Ohio, I'm Robb Dunewood.
I'm the show's producer, Roger Chang.
DTNS Live is made possible by you, thanks to all of you, including John Atwood, Pat, and Mike Cortez.
Yay! And welcome, all of you, to DTNS Live. This is the show where we discuss the week's tech news to help us all understand it a little bit better. David Spark is joining us from the CISO series. Hi, David. Welcome back.
I am thrilled to be back. Love coming back on here. It's so much fun.
Well, we have fun with you as well. And what's new in your life? How are you gearing up for the holidays?
I am gearing up for family visiting and half of my family disappearing. So that's kind of an interesting thing. Wife and kids are going to her mother's house, yet my sister and her brother-in-law, my sister and my brother-in-law, her husband, are coming here.
One
Nice.
family in, one family out, basically.
Exactly. So everything's balanced.
Good stuff. Well, for anybody who is watching the video version of the show, Tom and I are both wearing hats. Hats are not mandatory, but Tom is wearing a very nice DTNS hat. One
Yeah.
of the new ones.
I mean, if you would like to wear this hat, you can. Just give us money. dailytechnewsshow.com/store. It's a new thing they're doing these days. Money in exchange for goods.
exchanging products for
Yeah.
money.
Yeah,
This is-
currency for
wow.
products. Yeah.
You should do a whole story on this.
I probably should. That's a good
Sometimes
idea.
You can buy things.
Interesting concept. You mean you can hand me this thing you call money and you'll give me stuff?
And I'll just give you this hat. Like, it's that
That's
easy.
awesome.
Yeah.
All you
That's
need
a
is
pretty
money.
good deal. I like it.
It's not
It
bad.
really is. Well, for everybody who is watching live or listening, you can name this episode. Head over to dtns.showbot.tv. Keep the tab open to submit titles and vote on others' submissions as well. We will check back in on the votes at the end of the show, and your title might be the title that ends up being our title of today. A reminder, we have an extended show for our patrons. So when we say goodbye to everybody, stick around because there's more to come. All right, let's kick it off with a few stories that caught our eye today.
I will remove my hat for this story. Roomba maker iRobot has filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy in the U.S. and plans to sell all of its shares to China's Paisia Robotics, which is its primary parts supplier and has lent it money to keep going. However, I'll put the hat back on because iRobot anticipates no disruption to its app functionality, customer programs, global partners, supply chain relationships, or ongoing product support. So your Roomba will still have support even while they're in bankruptcy. Yay.
Yay.
So here's my question. Wouldn't they tell you that that's what they expect even if they didn't?
Sure, but then
Maybe legally.
wouldn't they
you
also
can't.
tell you if that's what they are going to do? Like, so you can't, what you're saying is you can't tell either way?
Yeah, so kind of what I would expect.
Well, I have an iRobot competitor sitting in my closet currently, which is going to be a new Live With It segment in just a few weeks.
Would it be a Eufy? We have a Eufy.
It's not a Eufy, and the name
Robo
is escaping me. Robo Rock, yes, thank you. And it is designed to be on hardwood, but also carpet surfaces, and able to do either just sort of sweeping, but also deep cleaning with water. We shall see. My landlord might be upset about this, but not my problem. All right. Reuters sources say that China is testing a prototype extreme ultraviolet lithography machine used for making advanced AI chips. The EUV system was reportedly developed in a secure Shenzhen lab by former ASML engineers and can generate EUV light, but has yet to produce working chips. The effort is described as a 6-year, state-backed, Manhattan Project-esque coordinated with Huawei to reduce reliance on the U.S. and allied semiconductor supply chains.
They are racing to try to be able to not need U.S. IP before the U.S. finally comes to an agreement to let them have U.S. IP again.
Yeah, it's actually it makes sense from a Chinese state standpoint. They don't want to be beholden to another country for their technological advances that they need to make there. So this was something that, if you were reading the tea leaves, you kind of knew it was going to come.
It's a part of a broader shift in thinking away from sort of like just going with the people that can deliver the best value on that product to making sure you own the entire chain, so you're never caught flat-footed.
The video game console industry has had a particularly rough November. Hardware spending plummeted 27% year over year to $695 million, a 20-year low, with 1.6 million units sold, a 30-year low. Despite the decline, the PlayStation 5 led sales in both units and dollars, beating the Nintendo Switch 2. Call of Duty Black Ops 7 was the best-selling game, though the franchise's overall dollar sales fell by double digits. It's been rough for hardware manufacturers for a while.
I mean, it's sort of a confluence of things. It's like the increase in prices, but it's also like you're coming toward the end of the current generation, with the exception of the Switch 2. And so, unlike people who want a PS5 probably already have one, or an Xbox Series X or whatever. And so you're just kind of going through that life cycle. And then you got higher prices on top of that. So it's like a kick in the both shins.
Well, there were a lot of stories this week, but those were 3 that caught our eye. Meta confirmed to the BBC that Facebook is testing a $9.99 monthly subscription that would limit how many links a non-paying user could share in posts, with capping it at 2 links per month. The test involves a small group of users running professional mode or pages in the UK and US. So it's not everybody. It's only certain types of pages, which point to Meta's broader push to monetize content distribution rather than just verification. Critics obviously say Facebook is becoming a less reliable traffic driver for creators and businesses unless they pay. Now, David, I know we were talking a little bit before the show started that Meta is not alone here in trying this sort of thing out.
No, they're not. And also, I should mention, like LinkedIn does variations of this, but the thing is, they've kind of already done this in the sense that if you post things to you have some kind of a page, a professional page on Meta, they don't show it to all the people or followers. You actually have to pay to get it seen by all the followers. So this is kind of the same thing they're already doing. And then similarly with LinkedIn, they do something similar. In addition, like you have to, like, if you want to connect with people and write a note, you have to pay for that. I pay for LinkedIn for solely that reason alone, that when I try to connect with people, I can send them a note. They throttle the number of times you can do that. So this has existed in other forms. They're just trying to force people to pay up front now, essentially.
Yeah, I see that the difference here with LinkedIn is that LinkedIn has kind of always done this. It's like they offered a new service where you can do these in links, and here you've got to pay this amount for it. And people who wanted, okay, that's what I'll pay for it. Where what's happening with this is that if you are already getting these links for free, now you're saying that, oh, I now have to pay for them. So it just feels different, even though the end result is the same. It's like, what Meta is saying is that if you're using us for business, if you are a company or, a brand and you want to promote your stuff, then we want you to pay for the ability to do that on our
But they
platform.
were doing it. They were doing it already, Rob. They were doing like it wasn't a shadow ban, but more of a shadow depressed, if you will. So say you have 1,000 people that follow your page on Facebook, and you post something. Not 1,000 people are going to see it. They will shadow depress it down to 50, 100. I don't know what it was. And if you paid, then you could show it to the people who already raised their hand and said, yes, I want to get more information from this company. So
And I think for
it's just a
anybody-
different way of it's just a different way of delivering this.
For anybody who's like, hold on a second. So if I use Facebook, I now have to pay for Facebook, even though this is still a very limited test in the UK and the US. No, that's not what's happening. And every couple years or so, there's a whole thing that goes around where it's a hoax on Facebook where people say, I do not allow Facebook to, use my
Post
data.
my
it's-
image and yeah.
Right, yeah. Like
It does nothing.
all of that stuff, yeah, that does nothing. It's not real, guys. But all of this still makes people think like, well, at what point are we going to have to start paying for Facebook? That is not what this is. This is a very specific, I am running a business. I want to, or a news org, in whatever fashion that might be. And I want to share links. Do I get to just like blast links out 4 times a day, every day? Facebook is saying, no, now you're going to have to pay. Again, limited test, but that's the idea. Otherwise, no, you only can do that, every so often per month. And that keeps you kind of, I don't know, in the weeds.
But honestly, this is just sort of, I think they're being front and center about this. Think about this. If you want to gather an audience and send them messages, you have to use like one of these mailing list services to do this in general, and you want to have a lot of features to it. For this time, Facebook has allowed you to do a lot of this for free, but again, has suppressed how much it's going out to and sort of on the back end saying, oh, well, now if you really want to send it out to the 1,000 followers, pay us. So, we've seen this model of business before. Think about the old comedy club days. Get free tickets to see the comedy show, but you got to pay us 2 drinks, severely overpriced. So, it's just, they're trying to get you some way or another. And they've been doing it the sort of the back way, which isn't generating that much money. So they're like, all right, it's a subscription, pay us. And again, it's just a test, as you pointed out, Sarah.
So instead of a 2-drink minimum, it's a 2-link maximum.
A good point. There you go.
Mm-hmm. And I think this is new. We've seen lots of people charge you for reach, which is what we're talking about. When they say you have to pay to reach all your followers, you have to advertise. You have to pay advertisement.
Exactly.
Facebook's making money off of advertising. It's not like it's free. So it is interesting to see them control content. We're going to say you can't put a link in posts more than 2 times a month unless you're verified. And that sounds normal to people like, oh, yeah, the verified. This is to stop misinformation, right? A lot of people may think that. It's like, well, no, the verified means you paid $15. That's all it means. And so you're paying $15.
Verified, you've got $15.
Yeah, exactly.
It should say verified,
verified, you have a credit
15.
card. Yeah.
I don't know this for a fact. We may have to dig deeper into it, but I don't think that the paying of the $15 is going to do anything for your reach. I think this is
who knows?
Yeah,
You're right.
advertising
all you
up
do
your
is you
reach.
get to post more links that people don't see unless you're paid.
That's a good
ads.
point, Rob. This could just
Exactly.
be more of the same. Who knows?
Yeah, this says nothing about improving your reach. You're still going to advertise if you want to
Yes,
do that.
I was mistakenly believing that they would actually let you do that, but possibly not at all.
I assume that Facebook has enough data on the types of small businesses or otherwise people who are like, yep, I'm willing to pay this. This is worth it. Don't throttle my link sharing per month. To the point that this is at least a test and could be rolled out widely soon.
Hopefully, they don't touch Marketplace, because it's a pretty handy way to sell stuff for me.
Oh yeah, I hadn't even really thought about Marketplace.
Regular people, probably not. If you are a company that is building your business inside of it, maybe not this go round, but I wouldn't be shocked if they come after those folks as well, because what Meta is saying is that we want to make money. If you're using us to make money, we want to make money off of you. That's ultimately what this is coming down to.
Well, and Marketplace started as, me being like, I don't use my dining room table anymore, or I'm moving, somebody come over and get it for, a cool price. That's what it's supposed to be for. There are a lot of companies on Marketplace now.
They're going to shake down people on that. I have a feeling, or somehow.
Those companies are probably going to have to start paying if they aren't already. I'm not totally sure how it works, if your living space is on Marketplace.
You get like a 12-chair minimum.
So
or a maximum.
I would imagine.
Roger's got a few chairs to sell you. If you're interested.
I would imagine that they're testing this, but what I think their idea is, what their best bet is that, there's going to be a lot of people who are not going to do this, but there will be enough who will, that it will actually make up for the ones that we lose who don't. So
you have to
at the end of the
pay.
day, they're counting beans, and if we have more beans at the end of the month than we did at the beginning, after doing this, then it gets pushed out.
But then you also get a bunch of links from a smaller amount of sources, which is problematic in its own way.
But look at it this way. If you have built up a business on Facebook and it is critical to your business, you have no choice but to pay. You got to do
Or
it.
if you're a news organization who has demanded that Facebook pay you to have links, this is a
There you
nice
go.
negotiating ploy for Facebook to go, well, now you can't have links unless you pay us. Oh, maybe we can reach a deal on that.
We'll see. If
Also,
that
you have to pay
happens.
10% to Facebook if you use their Facebook checkout for shipping. If it's a local pickup, you don't have to pay anything on Marketplace.
Oh, Marketplace, how I love you. All right, so OpenAI is launching an app store inside ChatGPT. Tom, you've been giving it a try. So what are your initial thoughts?
Yeah, OpenAI announced that developers can now submit apps to ChatGPT. Those apps will be featured in an app directory available from the tools menu and also at chatgpt.com/apps. And if we want to pull up that page, you can see there's a featured section, a lifestyle section, a productivity section, includes previously announced integrations like Canva and Spotify, Photoshop, and Target. But there's also Apple Music is in here, OpenTable is in here, DoorDash is in here for groceries. Instacart already was an announced thing. So there's lots of different options for you to add an app.
Do we know? But like the Spotify app, I have the Spotify app. Does the Spotify AI ChatGPT app or OpenAI app integrate with the current Spotify app? I mean, I don't know.
I'm
What is
glad
that?
you asked. To use an app, you select Connect, authorize it to access ChatGPT, and then you can start a chat related to the app that accesses it. So I did that with Apple Music. I wrote at Apple Music, create a new playlist that combines my current one and playlist one lists. And it immediately said, I can't do that directly. It was able to create a playlist. So I said, Mick, can you make a playlist for me? And it said, yes, I can do that. Tell me what songs you want on it. So this is, I think, a better example. I said, make a playlist that combines the title tracks from all of LE SSERAFIM's albums with those of BTS. And it made a playlist where it correctly identified the title tracks of all of these. And then here's the funny part, though. It told me, you should see an Apple Music playlist preview above. Click open in Apple Music, tap add to library, rename or reorder checks how you like. It didn't have add to playlist. It just had a little button here that said add to your library, which I did, and then nothing happened. I had to go open Apple Music and look and go to my recently created playlist, and then it was there. So then I was like, can you rename that playlist? Because it gave it an automatic name. And it said, nope, I can't do that. I can't actually add or do anything like that. So the next thing I tried was Dropbox. I said, Dropbox, can you help me clean up some folders? It said, yes, I can analyze and plan a cleanup, but I should be very clear. I cannot move, delete, rename, or reorganize Dropbox folders for you directly. I can inspect files, identify duplicates, propose a better structure, help you decide what's safe to archive versus delete. So basically with Dropbox, I can ask it questions about things I have in Dropbox, but it's not going to be able to affect it, which I think is good to know. I think a lot of people get scared of these things. Like, what if it goes wrong?
It's not going to be truly agentic here.
Yeah, no, this is just when it says it's an app, it's really a connector to the app. Right. So it's connecting me to Apple Music. It's connecting me to Dropbox. And then it'll let me do some things. But it's up to the developer to decide what it will allow it to do.
And I think, and this makes sense in early stages, there's going to be a lot, I cannot do that. So this is going to be like hiring a consultant who writes a long report for you, and then you have to do it all yourself.
Yeah, a lot of times it's going to be that. I imagine with something like Instacart, it could be useful where I'm in ChatGPT and I'm brainstorming a recipe and I say, hey, actually make a list of the ingredients and then at DoorDash or at Instacart, have order them from there for me. And then I would be able to do something like that because Instacart allows that to happen.
Or at least just have it in a shopping list of some kind.
Right. I might have to actually click out to Instacart's website to complete the transaction. That's a good point because OpenAI said there's no monetization happening on ChatGPT's platform. You have to click out to a website to do anything like that. But they are considering having monetization inside of the platform for these apps. And if that were to happen, I imagine OpenAI is going to take a fee, and that's another revenue generator for them.
Well, and for all of us being like, and Tom, you really took one for the team here by being like, yeah, so Apple Music didn't work all that well. And I forget what your second version was.
Yeah.
Dropbox, didn't exactly work all that well. This is all great intel for all parties involved. So OpenAI gets more intel on like, here's what people want to do. And then they talk to the other companies and say, here's what people want to do. And so that's where we get to the point where you make that Apple Music playlist exactly how you want it in the first place.
Yeah, you're absolutely right on that, Sarah. These are baby steps that are being taken here. OpenAI is saying we are not going to mess up your Dropbox file structure. We're not going to delete playlists accidentally. We're just going to give you a little bit of gateway into what is potentially possible. And when we come up with version 1.1 and 1.9 and 2.0 and 3.0 and whatever, however they progress, you'll probably see more and more functionality come along once they've gotten those metrics back on what's safe and what's not safe to actually do in someone's application that they are, in many cases, you're paying for Apple Music, you're paying for Dropbox. You got to be very careful of allowing another application that you may be paying for to access them that potentially could do harm to those other platforms.
Yeah, and like I said, the developers decide that. For example, Adobe lets you do PDF editing in this, right? But they really limit what you can do with Photoshop because they want you to pay for Photoshop and use it in Photoshop so they can collect that data correctly. It's interesting to go through all of this stuff and see what the different apps are allowing and what they're not. And what they require you to go out to do. Monetization, obviously, is one that OpenAI won't let you do. But there's some things that they could let you do, like playlist management, that they're just like, no, we're not gonna have you do that quite yet.
I mean, it's something like making a playlist. I mean, obviously, that can be very important. Maybe it's somebody's birthday or a wedding or whatever, where it's like, this really has to be done correctly right this second. But something like getting groceries is more of like a lifestyle daily thing that people really do need. And I can just imagine, not the people who are listening to DTNS Live right now, because you guys know how these things work, but an average person, a normie, saying, all right, ChatGPT, can you help me get stuff from Target? I have a grocery list. And it's like, no, I can't do that. It's like, this is not ready for prime time. This is very much experimental stage, and the companies are getting data on what they should do in the future. That's my stance.
I'll probably have more thoughts about this once I've played around with it. Rob, what are you doing Wednesday, January 7th around 6:30 p.m.?
Probably somewhere walking around a giant convention center in Las Vegas.
Maybe you should be at Resorts World then if you're in Las Vegas, because we are going to have a meetup. It's going to be me. It's going to be Rob. It's going to be Amos. KT Data is going to be there. I know a few listeners have already said they're going to show up. So if you're at CES or if you're just in Las Vegas on January 7th, maybe you live there, maybe you're visiting there at the same time by happenstance, come hang out with us. We're just going to meet up at the Resorts World food court. We'll have some stickers to give away. We've got these QR code stickers with Daily Tech News Show in the middle of them. We've got the stickers of me and Sarah and Roger that we can give away. And we'll just talk about tech, talk about whatever. You can get some food and drink from the food court there. Once again, it's January 7th, 6:30 p.m. at the Resorts World food court. We'll see you there, right?
Are you guys going to wear like special hats so everyone recognizes you? Or is it going to just be really obvious?
I mean, I'll wear this hat.
That's Tom, that's Rob, that's Amos.
Rob, look
That's
for
KT
look
Data.
for this hat and the best hat you've ever seen. That'll be what Rob's wearing.
There you go. Yeah.
There will be a fedora for him.
Well, as we mentioned, CES 2026 right around the corner. But attending a trade show, a convention, and doing it successfully versus attending one just, and kind of limping through it and maybe getting a cold at the end, two very different things. David Spark, you are a veteran in this arena. So let's talk about what you know and what you are going to give your wisdom to about.
All right. So a few things. So I do attend a lot of conferences, and I've also worked trade show booths before, and I've helped companies with working their trade show booths. And this is just sort of general advice on both sides, but mostly if you're really going to be there selling as well. And I'm just going to mention this here. I have a book on this topic. It says 3 Feet from 7 Figures, One-on-One Engagement Techniques to Qualify More Leads at Trade Shows. And this can work whether you have a booth or not, because you're looking to buy, you're looking to sell. Everyone's kind of in both buying modes at a lot of these conferences. And the number one thing is, don't make it about you. Make it about the person you're meeting, because the more you make it about them, find out more about them. Two things. One is you can learn something from them of what they've experienced at the show so far, and also learn if they're qualified or not. Nobody likes to be sold to if they don't want to hear it. And if you have a sort of a chronic pitch that you're constantly spouting out, people in their minds are thinking, I want to get away from you. You've had that experience, yes?
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
Definitely.
sure. Yeah.
Many times. Multiple times and will again.
Yes. So it's just sort of, you think because you have a booth, because they walked into your booth, of course, they just immediately want to hear your pitch. And yes, they may want to, especially at CES. They want to see the new gear that you have. But first thing, greet them where they're at. Hello, welcome. What brings you here? Like, why are you here in our booth? And here, this is something actually, this video that we're showing is something that I do as actually a workshop called Business Networking Pickup Lines, where we actually teach people techniques. This is what I call business flirting. So let me explain what I mean by that. So I heard a great definition of romantic flirting, and that is not how do I puff up my chest to make myself look attractive, but rather how can I talk to you, each individual, to make you feel physically attractive? And if I am able to bestow that upon you, make you feel physically attractive, how will you then feel about me? Because my goal is to change your feelings about yourself,
To be
and
disarming.
I'm the one doing it. I'm sorry, Sarah?
To be disarming.
Yeah.
To make somebody feel like, oh, you like me. Okay.
Right.
I'm
But
pretty
again,
cool.
it's not. It's designed to focus on you rather than to get you to focus on me, because by focusing on you, you'll then have a different feeling about me. Now, that's romantic flirting. So what if we were to take that same concept to business relationships? The idea being, how do I make you, Sarah, and everyone else, how do I make you feel professionally attractive? And there are techniques and ways to do this, and it's all about focusing on the individual. And we could do this in any in-person networking event. We can do this when we're at trade shows and conferences. It's really important to essentially, make make it about them. The classic line, if anyone's sort of gone through sort of therapy sessions before, active listening. This is core to that. I know you all have your pitch you want to do, and you can get to that, but don't make it the very first words that come out of your mouth. That's my main advice there.
So should I say you've done something? Have you done something new with your spec sheet?
Your spec sheet. Well, no. Here's the basic line. If you're at a conference, opening line everyone can use all the time, whether you're at a booth or just meeting someone, just ask, what's the coolest thing you've seen at the show today?
Yeah.
Just
No, and
start
I hear
at
that. I hear that as often as I hear somebody with their bad pitch, and probably more. It's like, what's the coolest thing you've seen at the show? I always have a hard time answering that.
But don't you like asking that question? Because CES is so gigantic that you can't see everything. And someone says, oh, I saw this, and look, oh, where's that? Like, I want to see that too. Or you at least get to know what interests that person.
Yeah. You learn a little bit about
Well, and it puts everybody on more of a level playing field, right?
It's
right.
Like, what's the coolest thing you've seen? Oh, thanks so much for letting me know, because you're also an expert. Let me tell you more about the reason that I'm here.
Well, and also,
That's much better than, kind of walking up to somebody and being like, can I show you my product?
yeah. And oh, go ahead, Roger.
Oh no, I was just saying, like, then is the sign of success that you've done that well or functionally well, is like you're trading business cards, you're trading contact information, or you say, hey, let me check out what you're making, what you're producing at this show.
Well, the thing is here's the thing. You can be successful in a multitude of different ways. So say, I ask you, Roger, what's the coolest thing you've seen? And you saw something that is similar to what I'm selling. And I go, oh, that's so cool. You see, you know what? I don't know if you know this, but we're doing something similar. And then all of a sudden I know you're qualified. But let's say you say something that's completely non base, and I ask you, well, you're interested in XYZ, what we're selling. And just I ask that, and you just go, no, I'm not. But I say, you know what? That's totally cool, Roger. Enjoy the rest of the show. Just remember, we're the company that does XYZ. And the reason for that is because, Roger, you're going to go talk to lots and lots of other people. And someone possibly is going to say, I'm interested in XYZ. Because, oh, I stopped by this one booth. They were really nice to me.
So instead of spreading germs, you're spreading sort of awareness of the
awareness,
brand of the
whether you're qualified or disqualified.
Possibly germs, too.
You could do that. Yeah.
And and what you're saying makes perfect sense, because when you meet somebody for the first time, they don't remember what you say. They remember how you make them feel.
Exactly.
So if you make someone feel comfortable, oh, I kind of like this guy, they will remember the feeling. They may not remember what you talked about or the thing that you do, but they remember you. They remember that feeling. And when they're going through, oh yeah, I remember I talked to Dave, and that was a nice guy. Let me go check out what he does over there at CISO.
Let me tell you.
How many times do you hear people say, like, I was over at such and such booth, and either they were so nice or they were a bunch of jerks? Like, I hear either one of those all the time.
Yeah.
But here's, by the way, you cannot lose complimenting someone. Let me stress that. So, for example, I run into any of you on the floor. The first thing I'm going to say when I see you, Rob, is, that is one awesome beard. Best beard I've seen on the floor today. Or I see you, Tom, and I go, what's DTNS on your hat? Like, I'm acknowledging you, acknowledging what I'm seeing. And also, people wear name tags. If your eyesight's good enough and you read it, say the person's name when you see them. People like to hear the sound of their own name.
David, that's a great idea.
Well, and for anybody who's like, gosh, this sounds disingenuous, if you haven't been to a show the likes of CES before, there are just too many people. Like, you're not going to remember people's names.
No.
You're not going to remember everything that you talk about with folks. You are going to get bombarded with products that you're just simply not interested in. So tactics like this are not meant to, confuse anybody. It's just meant to remember me. Remember our interaction. We might be able to work together in the future.
Let me ask all of you and the audience as well, have you ever met someone, you had no business to do with them, but you just liked them, and fast forward X number of years, you've recommended them, you've done business with them? I mean, we've all had this, haven't we?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Especially with certain PR folks that, one of the things about PR people working PR is they move around from agency to agency.
Yes.
So they might be working for Lenovo, but then like 2 shows later, they're working for like Belkin or they're working for another tech company. And it's always great because you're already on the first name basis with them. They can say, "Oh, Roger, let me show you this because I know from our history before working at Lenovo, this is the kind of product that you're interested in."
Yeah, and they know to target you appropriately and not waste your time either.
Yeah, CES is a industry show. There aren't too many regulars walking around. You either are there selling something, you're either there buying something or looking for stuff to buy, or you're there covering the stuff that can be bought and sold.
Or also, and you're
That's-
looking to partner with somebody too.
Yeah, those two. But the thing is, no one wants to feel like a mark. We know
No,
what it is. You know,
right.
when I come to your booth, I know you're going to give me the pitch. That's why you're there. That's why you spent the enormous amount of money to be on the floor. But if you can make it a situation where you're not making me feel like a mark, and you say something clever, you say something interesting, and I remember you, I make there's that emotional connection. It is just better all the way around.
People do remember the cool stuff they see, but in in any trade show you're in general, because there's not a lot of CES type shows out there, people really just remember the conversations of the people they met. They don't remember the booth, really.
Well, if you're not going to CES, or even if you are, chances are that you will eventually be back on your couch, hopefully not having caught a cold, and wanting to sit back and watch some content. So, Rob, Netflix, Instagram, are they coming for YouTube?
So, Sarah, the way that people consume user-generated content is changing. It used to be you were doing this stuff on your phone, on your tablet, on your computer, but now the biggest screen in our homes, televisions, that's pretty much where you're watching YouTube videos and podcasts. Between 2024 and 2025, YouTube actually overtook TV as the number one way that folks in the U.S. consume video content. And just this other month, back in October, viewers streamed over 700 million hours just in the month of October. 700 million hours of podcast on YouTube. That's nearly double what it was.
By the way, I
just
believe
1
my
year ago.
son was 100 million of those hours. I believe that.
I might have been about 10 million myself, but it's massive how much how much content people are consuming on their televisions there. So big social media, and the big streamers have noticed. Instagram announced this week that it is piloting IG for TV, where users can start watching IG Reels starting on Amazon Fire TV. Netflix back in October announced a deal to bring podcasts like the Bill Simmons podcast and shows from The Ringer inside of its walled garden. And just this week, Netflix announced a deal with iHeartMedia for shows like The Breakfast Club and Chelsea Handler's podcast. So I really kind of want to just open up to you guys. We have all been doing this content creation thing with video for years. How do you all feel about the shift from people watching on their phones, watching on their computers, watching on their tablets, to they're now sitting down in their living rooms, in their bedrooms, or wherever they have televisions and watching people like us do this stuff on their TV?
It's interesting because my kids do this naturally. And what I've finally, I do it because I'm old and it's easier in my eyes to look at a big, 56-inch TV versus, a little phone screen. But the kids like it because they watch the same thing and then they can do what we did when we were kids watching TV. We point and make comments about what we see. And it's much harder to do that when you're sharing a bunch of big heads around a small screen in a setting versus sitting back on a couch where you can still do something else at the same time while you're consuming that particular content.
It is.
By the way, my
interesting
kids the same way as you, Roger. They like it, and also should also mention that the reason for a lot of this, Rob, is that that it's just made it easier to do it via television. Sarah, I'm sorry.
No, please don't. Don't be. It's interesting to me that so much of, legacy television, there's a couch, there's a TV, or, wherever it is, the family room, you sit there and you watch something and it comes on at a certain time and we are, way past that era of life. But then it was sort of like, oh, everything's mobile, everything's on the go. And that is certainly helpful, right? If you're on the go and you want to watch something, maybe you're on a plane, maybe you're, in the back of a Waymo, whatever it is. Also very, very helpful. You're at a cafe. But it's kind of going back to, yeah, but people really want to use that big screen for all the new stuff. It doesn't mean that we're going back to the bygone era of, cable television, which still exists. Yes, I know, but, is going away faster and faster. But that is the screen that is preferable if possible. And Roger, you mentioned your kids, and David, you did too. This never hammers home to me more often than when I babysit my friends' kids. Every so often, they're like 6 and 4, and everything that is anything like YouTube, whatever it is, they're like, we're in the living room, the TV, turn the TV on and play the YouTube thing that we want. They don't walk around with smartphones. They're too young, so that's what they know. And they don't know how it gets there, but that's where it's fun and comfortable.
It's an experience, right? Oftentimes, if you have a TV, you might have a sound bar or a much better audio setup. And since a lot of the videos, at least my kids watch, are music, it sounds better. It sounds a lot better than coming from a tablet or a phone, even though they consume it there too. But they like it because then they can point and they can dance and they can do all the things without having to hold a tablet that maybe is low on juice, as my youngest daughter says, and needs to be plugged in. It's just there, and you can dance around the couch and point at things and laugh and run in and out. It's still there.
Do they watch shorts on the
Yes.
TV? Yeah. So that's the interesting thing is it's not unusual to watch YouTube on TV because YouTube has all kinds of formats. But I'm skeptical whether Reels and TikTok can transfer themselves there.
My
But if
son
kids are
watches
watching
them.
shorts,
Yeah. And
watches TikTok and Reels on TV, on the big TV.
Yes.
How by AirPlay?
No, not through. No, you could just go to YouTube Shorts within it.
No, I'm saying Instagram and TikTok stuff.
Yeah. Oh no, he watches YouTube Shorts, not those.
Yeah. Okay.
So what Instagram is doing with this deal with Amazon TV is that they are actually going to take the IGTV and put that into the Amazon television. So you will then be able to go and watch YouTube Reels. You'll be able to go and watch Instagram Reels right there on the television. And one of the things that IG has actually experimented with is actually giving you horizontal content. So if this works, I am certain that you will start seeing 10-minute plus videos on IG that are horizontal, so you get that actual real estate of the full television that makes people want to watch it more. And I do watch an enormous amount of YouTube on my television. And one of the things that I have noticed here, probably in the last month or 6 weeks, is that when I actually go into YouTube on my television, the shorts, or not the shorts, the YouTube shorts, they're expressed first. I see shorts before I even see the long-term content. Because
in fact, some people have complained about that. Like, you're pushing shorts at us.
But I understand why YouTube will do that, because they know that those shorts are sticky. People will watch one, then they'll watch the next one, then they'll watch the next one, then they'll watch the next one. You may have watched a 11-minute YouTube video, and then you go on to the whatever you're going to do with the rest of your day. But you might spend a half hour, 40 minutes just going from short to short to short to short. So they're expressing it first because they know that that's where they're getting their ad run from.
It's the ultimate expression of channel surfing, right? Before, when channel surfing, you had to kind of sit on the channel to see what was actually playing. But when you have a shorts, a reel, or whatever, the content's already made for that 30, 40, 1 minute. And then you can, okay, this is cool. Got what I need next. So it's a weird addictive behavior tied in with traditional couch potato behavior.
So I did want to ask you guys this question, because for the Breakfast Club, I don't regularly watch the Breakfast Club, but I see Breakfast Club clips all the time. It is very once in a blue moon that I would ever sit down and watch the entire 2-hour Breakfast Club, or 3 hours. Sometimes I think those things will go, but I'll watch a 6-minute, 9-minute, 12-minute, 17-minute segment on YouTube all the time. What I wonder is what's going to happen when they move over to Netflix. Will you still get the clips on YouTube? Because it seems to me like that drives a lot of the traffic to the overall larger video. And if you can't watch that, if you can't watch those clips on the social media network that is YouTube, will that actually affect their numbers once they move over to Netflix?
Right. Like if there's a celebrity, which there often is, that the Breakfast Club, sits down with for a couple hours, but they say that crazy thing, 1 hour and 15 minutes into the interview, it's like, that's the 10-minute clip that is going to be shared with the rest of the world.
If 10 minutes, it could be a minute.
If 10 minutes, yeah.
But for Netflix, like I don't think it's the either or. Like it would be both. Like just have it as a gateway. Have it like the people movers that like casinos have in Vegas, where they move you in to the casino, but very few of them actually have the people movers that move you out. And so it's a short leap to go from, hey, that's a really interesting conversation, I want to know what the rest of it's like. I'll just bop over to Netflix.
I mean, Netflix puts clips of its own shows on YouTube for the same reason. And I don't think the Breakfast Club has the full show in video. It just has the clips in video.
Yeah, so it's, at least the parts I've seen, and
they can continue to do what they're doing right now without changing a thing, because they haven't put the full video out anywhere, and now they will. And Netflix will be the only place you can get it.
So yeah, it's an interesting experiment. I know a lot of people are saying that that's not how podcasts should be, be watched or listened to. And it's like, I don't know. It's just distribution at this point. And the reason iHeartMedia did this is because Netflix said, we're going to give you more money than you're getting off of YouTube. Would you like to come take this bucket of cash that we were putting out in front of you? And they said, yes. So it'll be an interesting experiment. It kind of reminds me almost of when like Howard Stern went from terrestrial radio over to a Sirius XM satellite. Yeah.
I don't know. I think if anyone's like, podcasting shouldn't be watched on the big screen, maybe that will encourage certain podcasters to be more video forward, which is kind of the way that the industry is swinging back around anyway. So
we so heavily edit our audio podcasts that it would not make sense for us to be a video show. We do some things on video on the CISO series, but we heavily edit the audio. So, it's, you can't do that to video. You can't,
You can't. I mean, you could do it with a bunch of jump cuts, but
I've seen what my editors do. They put in sometimes hundreds of cuts in an audio episode, and it's just to make it sound and that much better. And really, our focus is getting the people when they're, one of the things we keep talking about with our programming is that people are listening to our shows when they're not working. And I think that's the way most people are with audio podcasts is, you're listening to when you're commuting, you're working out, you're exercising, whatever it is. Nobody sits down at work and goes, I set aside 30 minutes to listen to a podcast. And so that's kind of our goal with them. And we probably will never do video and audio the same. I mean, we've had video releases of episodes, but they're not edited the same way that our audio episodes are.
Yeah. Well, if all this talk about the Breakfast Club has you somewhat peckish, let's check out the mailbag.
Ryan D writes, ranch and pizza. Sarah, if you ever find yourself headed to New York, you'll love the staple that is the chicken bacon ranch pizza. I think was it last week we were talking about this with
because I said I love ranch on pizza. Not all pizza slices are going to get ranch, but I love ranch on pizza. Ryan D, thank you for this. Zoe brings bacon. I know you're listening. This sounds like the pizza that's right up your alley. I don't do bacon, but chicken and ranch pizza I would be into. So, Ryan D, when I roll into town, I hope you're buying.
Do you hear that, Ryan?
By the way, did you see?
Are you listening, Ryan?
There was a whole Simpsons episode. There was a whole Simpsons episode about the kids' obsession with ranch dressing. I don't know if you ever saw that. It was quite.
I will say this: ranch makes tasty things taste tastier. It is a good what is it? A condiment? Is that what you would call ranch? Is
flavor.
It's
pure flavor.
It's a dressing. Dressing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's ranch dressing, right?
I get because it's like, when is ranch not salad dressing? It's kind of a dressing. I remember when I used to go to summer camp as a kid, because we didn't have ranch at my house. I don't know. My mom didn't like it for whatever reason. We would just slather ranch on iceberg lettuce, and we survived for a week eating that.
I remember the first time I had ranch on pizza. It was an accident because I thought I was dipping the crust into like one of those little cups of garlic butter. I just wasn't paying attention. I just opened it up and dipped it in there, and it's in my mouth, and it's like, this is not butter, but this is delicious. I'm looking, oh, this is ranch. It's like, this is actually pretty good. So it's like, it was a happy accident for me.
That's the story of ranch dressing on pizza being invented. Did you invent this, Ron?
Yeah, seriously. It's like no one sat down and said, you know what this pizza needs? It was a mistake. And then
it was a happy mistake.
It spread somehow.
A blend of secret herbs and seasonings.
yeah.
I don't know if they're secret, but
Well,
from a hidden valley.
if anybody, I see what you did there. If anybody has more thoughts on ranch and pizza, or pizza in general, or ranch dressing in general, and how it works for you, do let us know. Feedback at dailytechnewsshow.com. Also, anything that we talk about that's tech related on the show, we also want to hear from you. We don't, we're not able to add every email to our shows, but we do read every single one of them, and we try to respond to as many as we can. So thank you in advance. Of course, if you're a patron, you can comment on anything we post to Patreon as well, and we read all those too. David Spark, thank you so much for joining us today. Let folks know where they can keep up with all of your latest.
Well, let me also tell people, if you're not aware, not only can you keep up with all of my latest, but you can keep up with more Sarah Lane. If you are a big Sarah Lane fan, may I suggest that you subscribe to Cybersecurity Headlines. That's our daily news show. Actually, was modeled around something that they do over at Daily Tech News Show. And she is one of our fantastic reporters over at Cybersecurity Headlines. So if you're not getting enough of her here, if you've been complaining, Tom, we don't get enough Sarah Lane. Stop complaining to Tom. Come on over to Cybersecurity Headlines.
Tom, why are you hiding her? I'm actually quite busy over at Cybersecurity Headlines. Thank you, David. It's a really fun show.
We love having you over there.
Well, I love doing it as well. It's a great team. So we know we have a lot of crossover folks who already love both shows.
And by the way, Robb Dunewood, recent guest as well. And
Indeed.
Tom, we had you on a long time ago. We got to get
It's been a minute. Yeah, you're right. Okay. Yeah, I'm ready. Let's go.
We got to do that.
Yeah, I was on a couple of weeks ago, and I had an absolute blast. It was fun.
So, CISOseries.com. And by the way, if you're interested in if you work a trade show booth, I strongly recommend this. Is going to give you a handful of really good tips, if not more. 3 feet from seven figures. You can actually read it. It's short. It's not a big book. You can read it on the plane as you're going to CES. You can find it at 3feetbook.com, or if you just go to Amazon, you'll find it there as well. Or type my name in, David Spark, you'll find it.
Folks, you've been submitting titles over at dtns.showbot.tv for the show. And we've got a bunch of them over there today. So let's start off right at the top here with Facebook is greedy and it will limit linkage. What the heck? By Philly Conehat.
I like Zoe Briggs Bacon. Just give us money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like just give us money. It kind of boils it all down.
Yeah.
Right there.
So the reverb Mike has, say my name, say my name.
I like that one.
Say my name, say my name. So I probably should have done it like that.
What a sudden change.
Let's see. Fred819 comes in with how to suck at business with the dollar sign for the S.
Bye, Roomba. Wait, you're still here?
That's very funny. Oh. Yeah, Roomba's like bankruptcy, but business as usual.
Well,
I'm
Sarah,
always amazed when businesses are flying high and then all of a sudden you blink and they're running bankrupt and you go, what happened? You know?
In this particular case, Amazon wasn't able to buy them, so that's probably what happened here. But Sarah, what did we decide to go with today?
Well, we had a lot of good submissions, thanks to everybody, but we went with Fred819's CES 101, Conversational Convention.
Ooh, very nice.
I like that.
Well, folks, if you want to get in on the title submitting fun, you got to watch live. You can do it while watching live right in the Twitch chat, right in the Discord chat, or even if you're watching on YouTube or Patreon or Substack, head to dtns.showbot.com. We want to thank everybody who supports us on all those platforms. We're thankful to the folks watching us on LinkedIn, on YouTube, on Patreon, on Substack. We always like to take a minute at the end to thank everybody who subscribes to us. We've got new subscriptions and renewals to acknowledge here, like Razin and Jaxie and Hockey Sticks S, SW Texas giving us bits. Tom says go Chiefs. Nainu at tier 1 for the 42nd month. Lamar Zen, PC Milesy, the Pack NW Fall Star at tier 1 for 25 months. Morbius 65 tier 1 for 24 months. Gigantify an emote from Morbius 65. I always love seeing that. He did the Mantis remote, the Mantis emote. Controversial Psychic Cleo 2233 gave us some follows as well. Thanks to everybody who supports us in all the various ways. If you're a patron, stick around, because you ain't going away if you're a patron. We got a special game, and this time it's not from Roger. Roger handing over the game baton to David Spark. You're going to want to stick around to see
and
what
everyone
happens.
can play. Everyone can play in this game.
Fun.
Everyone.
It is going to be fun. All right, everybody. Reminder, you can watch us live every Thursday. That is 4 p.m. That's 2100 UTC. And you can find out more at dailytechnewsshow.com/live. Be sure to keep up with Daily Tech Headlines and Daily Tech News Show all week. Plus, weekly Live With It episodes, new hangouts throughout the week, and we have bonus weekend content regularly as well. All right, this wraps up our DTNS live shows for 2025. But don't worry, we're going to catch you again in 2026, starting on the week of January 15th. Till then, enjoy our holiday lineup of shows because we have a bunch of fun stuff for you. Our CES preview show on Friday, January 2nd, and our live streaming CES coverage from Las Vegas starts next month.
This episode of DTNS Live was created by the following people. Host and producer Sarah Lane, host Tom Merritt, host Robb Dunewood, producer Roger Chang, video producer Joe Kuntz, producer at large Anthony Lemos, contributing producers Kevin Tech, Noel Cow, and Brandon Richards, social media producer and moderator Zoe Detterding, our mods, Beatmaster, W. Scottus1, BioCow, Captain Kipper, Steve Guadarrama, Paul Reese, Matthew J. Stevens, and J.D. Galloway. Mod and video hosting by Dan Christensen. Music provided by Martin Bell and Dan Luters. Art by Len Peralta. Acast ad support from Tatiana Matias. Patreon support from Bobby Wagner. Our guest this week was David Spark, and thanks to all our patrons who make the show possible.
This show is part of the Frog Pants Network. Get more at frogpants.com.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.
Well, it is Thursday, and we are here with David Spark, as promised, to have a fun security game. We're going